What's up, guys? I want to talk to you about something that's kind of weighing on me right now, and I feel like I'm not going to allow shaming culture to keep me quiet. So here I am. I'm going to speak out about shaming culture, guys. We have a serious problem with this. It's getting to the point where it's almost ridiculous. People shaming people on social media and in the news. People shaming people just in conversations, out in public. Shaming people for being too fat, shaming people for being too skinny, shaming people for wanting to be super athletic, shaming people for not being athletic enough, shaming people for being too passionate, shaming people for having no passion, shaming people for making too much money, shaming people for not making any money. It's like everything that everyone does, everyone's being shamed for it. And so what I'm noticing is that there is a lot of injustice that is going on in this world that people want to speak out about. People want to talk about these very complex problems, and they want to do it in a healthy debating manner, but they can't, because the moment that someone opens their mouth about a problem, everyone slips into defensive victim mode, and they start attacking the person for talking about it, for bringing up the topic. Like, how dare you bring this up? The fact that this is a problem, I find this offensive. And everyone gets just so offended so quickly about things. And so what ends up happening? We literally have a culture now where nothing is getting done because everyone's afraid to do anything, because the moment that they do anything, they're going to get shamed for it. So, guys, this is also kind of why the work that I do with people is so helpful, because, guys, no matter what you do, you're going to be shamed for it by someone. Whether it's directly, indirectly, no matter what, you can't do anything perfectly, because there is no perfect. Because no matter what you do, someone's going to disagree with it. Someone's going to think they could have done it better. Someone's going to think you should have, could have, would have said it better or done it better. And whether they say it or not, they're going to think it. So you have to get to a point where you know your values. You know what you believe in. You know the reasons why, but also not to be so stubborn in those values and the reasons why you believe in them that they're not subject to also being changed. But here's the thing, you can never shame someone into changing their values and their beliefs. When you shame someone into this, they slip into guilt if they buy your shame. And if they slip into guilt, if they change anything, it's not going to be because they want to genuinely change it, which means it's not actually being changed. They're going to pacify you. They're going to people please you. And they're going to, around you, censor themselves. But that doesn't mean anything changed about their beliefs. So we have to learn that if we want something to change, if we want a belief to change, we need to be comfortable talking about differing beliefs and understanding that nobody is right, nobody is wrong. And that shaming people back into silence accomplishes nothing. Because number one, if we shame them back into silence, any validity to their argument is now silenced, and no one will hear about it, and nothing will be done about it. And if there is a flaw in their logic, nobody has heard them fully to let them be heard fully enough to let them feel as if they're not being judged, so that they can hear that there's another way to think without feeling like they're being attacked and shamed for it. No one is gently saying, hey, yeah, I can totally understand why you would see this way. And I was there with you, or I am there with you. But I think maybe we can explore something else. Maybe this isn't the solution. Maybe there's another way to look at it. But guys, shaming has to stop. It's never going to accomplish anything other than a bunch of frustrated, guilty feeling people who are silent when they see an injustice, who don't speak out when they have a belief. And so therefore we never establish what anyone's true beliefs are. So we can never actually figure out if we can't figure out what the person's beliefs are, then we can't actually figure out where the problems are coming from. If we're shaming people into silence, we're never going to figure out what people believe that is causing racism. If we shame people back into silence, we're never going to believe or understand what people believe that causes them to overeat. We're never going to understand the beliefs that people hold that causes them to develop eating disorders. Guys, we can't shame people into silence and then solve these issues at the same time. We have to keep an open mind, an open heart, and an open ear, and understand that these beliefs are part of humanity. And that if we don't understand them, we can't fully come up with a solution to change them if we want to change them, or even understand if we want to change them. That's the other side of the coin. If we never fully understand the beliefs, for all you know, something that you think is a terrible belief, until you understand where it comes from, maybe you'll be like, oh, actually, I never thought about it that way. Maybe your belief system has something to it. Maybe there's some truth there that I need to explore. But we're never going to get there if we keep shaming people back into silence. We have a culture that is built on supremacy and shame and guilt. And guys, it's getting us nowhere. We're all just frustrated and tired. We're all scared. No one is speaking out except for the people that the people that don't really care whether or not that their voice is ignorant or whether or not that their voice is violent or angry. The people that are so hurt that they're just yelling at humanity, these are the voices that we're hearing. And we're not hearing the vast majority of people that have an opinion that's somewhere in the middle, a belief that's somewhere in the middle, that there could actually be a solution instead of one of these extreme, loud, angry voices that's just blaming people and blaming society and blaming the world and shaming people into silence. Guys, we have to stop doing this. Otherwise, the voices from the people that actually have the solutions are never going to be heard. These people are never going to speak out. They're afraid to. I would encourage you to do it anyways, because I don't think we're going to end the shaming culture anytime soon. So I would encourage you to speak out, but I would also encourage you to speak from a space of wanting to build people up, not from a space of wanting to tear people down. Talk about the injustice, sure, but don't do it in a manner that shames the people that you think are causing the injustice into silence, because until you understand those people, you'll never understand why that injustice exists. Because I promise you, these people aren't doing it because they want to create a terrible world. They're doing it, whatever it is that they're doing, because they believe that they're making a better world. So until you understand how they believe that they're making a better world, you'll never get to the bottom of this belief system to change it. And you'll never get there by shaming them. You'll never get there by trying to make them feel guilty. Because either, if you make them feel guilty, either they're going to lash out back at you and attack you and shame you, or they're going to get silent and they're going to keep their beliefs, and you'll never know it, and they'll keep acting on those beliefs. So guys, there's a lot more to talk about here. It's hard for me to fit this into a short video. So I'm just going to leave it here. And I realize that I may not have said everything perfectly. Don't care. I also realize that I haven't addressed everything. Don't care. But this needs to be talked about. Shaming culture has to end. If we don't end it, we're just going to keep reliving these same problems over and over again. Racism will never be ended. This issue with violence will never be ended. Gun violence. This issue of, well, really any issue that we have, any sort of isms that we have in the world, sexism, this issue with poverty, this issue with, wage disparity, all of this, we're never going to solve it if we keep shaming people into silence. We have to be able to openly discuss, like compassionate, loving human beings, to get to the bottom of the beliefs that are creating these issues. So guys, I encourage you, number one, if you're seeing injustice in the world, don't be afraid to speak out about it, but do it from a space of love. Don't shame the people that you think are causing the injustice into silence, because you need to hear their voice. You need to hear where their beliefs are coming from. You need to hear that in order to understand how to change the problem. And I know that sounds scary, but if you open up your heart and your mind and you truly see these people as humans that are struggling through life and trying to figure it out just like you are, I promise we can come to a space of understanding, compassion, and peace. But shaming culture has to end. That's the number one point in this video, guys. We have to stop shaming people into silence. We're getting nowhere with this. I love you all. I'll talk to you all again soon. Ciao.